All right, so joining us now to talk about the impact these tariffs could have on supply chain, prices we pay at the store, Patrick Penfield. He's a professor of supply chain management at Syracuse University. Great to have you back. Thanks for being with us.
Great to be here.
So let's take this first one for you here, Patrick. What kinds of products, we talk Canada, Mexico, we say it kind of broad-based, but what kind of products from Canada will be hit the most?
Yeah, so from Canada, oil, gas, your, let's see, your vehicles, automobiles, automobile parts, nickel, aluminum, uranium, wood, so a lot of your basic materials that come into this country come from Canada.
Okay, so that's going to affect many industries, including, you know, building homes, I would think, too. Let's talk about the products coming in from Mexico. So what kind of products will be, what kind of goods and services will be impacted?
Yeah, so automobile parts, the oil sector, medical devices, fruits and vegetables. So we're really relying on fruits and vegetables, especially during this time of the year. And so this is really where I think consumers will see a big impact, especially with avocados.
Yeah, yeah. The big question I think a lot of people want to know, you know, we keep throwing out numbers, 25%, 10% on the Canadian oil, but how does that actually translate? What kind of impact are we going to actually see to our wallets, checks, pocketbooks, whatever you kind of analogy you want to draw there? What's the impact to us?
Sure. So this tariff, it's a regressive tax. So this means basically it's going to impact all consumers. All your viewers are going to be impacted one way or another. So it really depends on what you buy. So if we looked at it from an aggregate standpoint, and again, this is just some stuff I've seen, it probably will add another % to inflation. So inflation's right now about 3%, so think about 4%. And that's what you can see. But again, every industry is going to be a little different. Everybody's going to be impacted a little differently.
We got to talk about supply chain.
Sure.
How is it going to impact the amount of time that we have to wait to get products now? Is that going to impact that as well? Yeah,
so different supply chains are going to have different issues. The one that scares me the most is the automotive supply chain because they're very reliant on Canada and Mexico, and we're so intertwined. And so you'd be shocked at how complicated this is, right? So parts go over to Canada, they get worked on, they come back to the U.S. Sometimes they go back to Canada. So there's a whole bunch of different supply chain issues and problems that can transpire because of this particular situation. So the automotive industry is probably the one sector that's going to be impacted adversely by this. And it's going to cause a lot of chaos.
Which I think we've talked to you before about this issue because we know what happened during the pandemic. I mean, the auto industry just overall, and all of us as car buyers, we've taken a hit over the last several years. How much more can this automotive industry and we, again, take?
Yeah, this is...
in this sector, for this one product.
This sector is probably the one that will be impacted the most. So I wouldn't be shocked. Again, we saw some earlier, $3,000 on a base unit. They're talking $12,000, maybe more on a high-end SUV, $8,000 to $9,000 on your normal SUVs. So you're talking some major ramifications from a price standpoint. So this is definitely something that is really going to impact them from a profitability standpoint, too.
All right, so we talk about direct impacts. Let's talk about indirect impacts. So what kind of product sectors, what kind of countries could catch some shrapnel from this trade war?
Yeah, I think tourism probably is going to be impacted by this. And I think this is the one thing I'm concerned about is our relationship with Mexico and with Canada, and how will they treat consumers and tourists, when they go to visit. So this is really one that I'm concerned about. Another one is, our 401ks, right? So if you look at that sector, the financial sector, again, if you have more costs, less profitability, it's going to impact our 401ks.
Patrick, I probably have time for one more here. We've already heard Canada and Mexico plan to retaliate with tariffs. So now what kind of impact does that have?
Again, increased costs. So you're looking at increased fertilizer, increased wood prices, increased aluminum, nickel, uranium. They have a lot of raw materials that really we need here in the United States. And so if we can't get them, or if they cost substantially more, then prices will go up on other things.
All right. We always appreciate your time and your insight, Patrick Penfield. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.